On a bitter winter night in a quiet town, Officer James Carter was prepared for just another routine call, until fate intervened. As two small children, eyes brimming with fear and hope, rushed toward him crying, "Mama is dying!" everything changed. Carter's heart pounded when he discovered a woman lying on the floor, barely breathing, clutching a worn police badge, a badge that tied her to a past he thought he had long buried. In that moment, the weight of old memories and unspoken promises crashed down on him. Who was she? And what secret bond did she share with these desperate children? Join us on Acts of Kindness Stories as we unfold a powerful journey of redemption, love, and the relentless fight to protect what truly matters. Officer Carter's patrol car cruised slowly through the silent, frost-covered streets of a small town that night, its heater battling the bitter December cold. As he drove, the radio's static filled the cab, a low hum that only deepened the sense of isolation he had grown accustomed to over his 20 years on the force. The darkness outside was thick, almost tangible, and every shadow seemed to carry whispers of memories best left undisturbed. Yet fate had other plans. Suddenly, two small figures burst into the beam of a street lamp. Their feet, bare against the icy pavement, pounded toward him, and in the midst of the urgency, a small, trembling voice broke through the silence. "Mama is dying!" Instinct took over. Carter's heart hammered in his chest as he leaped from his car, boots crunching over the frozen gravel. His mind racing with a mix of alarm and a strange, stirring familiarity. Following the children down a deserted road, Carter's every sense was on high alert. They led him to a dilapidated trailer on the outskirts of town, a place where time itself seemed to have forgotten the pain and memories of past lives. The door, hanging slightly ajar, creaked open as he pushed it with caution. Inside, the beam of his flashlight revealed a scene of desolation, worn furniture, peeling metal, and scattered remnants of a once familiar life. And then his light caught her. An unmistakable figure collapsed on the floor, her features ghostly in the weak glow. Clutched in her hand was a tarnished police badge, its scratches and faded letters telling a story of years gone by. Carter's breath hitched as the realization dawned on him. This was not a stranger in need. This was someone he had known, someone whose memory had haunted him since a life-altering day long past. The shock of recognition brought him to his knees, his emotions overwhelming him as memories he had long buried rushed back in a flood of pain and regret. In that moment, every moment of his past life converged. The promises he once made, the paths he chose to ignore, and the children's desperate eyes pleading with him for help. The children, now standing timidly in the doorway, looked up at him with eyes that held both fear and an unspoken plea for rescue. Their presence, coupled with the frailty of the woman lying there, forged an unbreakable bond between Carter's duty as an officer and his own wounded heart. Without a moment's hesitation, he knelt beside her, checking for a pulse and gently cradling her hand. "Ma'am, I'm here. I won't let anyone hurt you," he whispered, his voice a blend of reassurance and sorrow. The soft, shallow rise of her chest was a fragile testament to life, and as Carter dialed for emergency services, he found himself pulled deeper into a narrative that was as much about the present crisis as it was about a lifetime of missed opportunities and unresolved guilt. The ambulance arrived in a flurry of red and blue lights that shattered the quiet, and paramedics quickly took over. Yet, even as they lifted the frail figure onto a stretcher, the children's eyes remained fixed on Carter, eyes that were filled with questions and a raw, unfiltered hope. One of them, a little boy with tears freezing on his cheeks, clutched his hand and repeated in a small, desperate voice, "Don't let them take us." It was a cry that echoed deep into Carter's soul, a promise he felt compelled to honor, despite the uncertainty of the situation. Within hours, the hospital became both a haven and a battleground. Carter sat in the sterile waiting room, the weight of the evening's events pressing down on him as he tried to process the tangled web of fate. The children huddled together on cold plastic chairs, their eyes wide with fear and longing. Across the room, the bureaucratic presence of Child Protective Services loomed large. An officer in a pressed suit named Elaine Carter, whose tone was clipped and measured, explained that without a legal guardian, the children would be separated, lost in the endless labyrinth of the foster care system. For Carter, this was more than a procedural hiccup. It was a moral imperative. The woman he had found, now identified as Cassandra, was not just a victim of her own circumstances. She was the anchor of these children's lives. Their connection ran deeper than blood. It was forged through years of hardship, survival, and love in the face of insurmountable odds. When Elaine mentioned that the children would be split up without a family member to care for them, Carter's heart clenched. He knew that, despite his own troubled past and the professional boundaries he had maintained for so long, he could not stand by and let these innocent souls be torn apart. Driven by an unyielding determination, Carter began making calls, contacting friends, legal advisors, and even old colleagues to find a way to secure temporary guardianship. Every minute that ticked by felt like an eternity, and the sterile fluorescent lights of the hospital seemed to mirror the cold, unyielding nature of a system that often prioritized procedure over compassion. But in that moment of crisis, Carter resolved to break through the red tape. His own guilt, accumulated over years of detachment and lost opportunities to be there for those who needed him, spurred him into action. In the midst of legal battles and mounting paperwork, a confrontation with a shadow from Cassandra's past added another layer of urgency. Martin Wells, a man with a violent history and a claim to the children as their biological father, reappeared, determined to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. Wells was a man whose record was marred by domestic violence and a string of criminal charges, and his presence threatened to undo all the progress made in those frantic hours. His calculated maneuvers in the legal arena were a stark reminder of the harsh realities the children had already endured. As the courtroom drama unfolded, Carter found himself thrust into a battle not just for custody, but for the very essence of what family should mean. With every word he spoke on the witness stand, he recounted his unwavering promise to protect the children, a promise born of the painful realization that sometimes the people who are not bound by blood can become the pillars of strength in a fractured world. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as Carter's heartfelt testimony resonated with everyone present. Even as Martin Wells' smug confidence faltered under the weight of Carter's earnest declarations, it was the children's simple, honest words that spoke the loudest. When the little boy bravely testified that he did not want to go with a man who had caused so much pain, the silence that followed was deafening. Every moment in that courtroom was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that true family is built not on genetics but on love, trust, and a commitment to care for one another through life's darkest storms. As the judge deliberated and the legal process unfolded, the bond between Carter, Cassandra, and the children deepened. The promise Carter had made to himself, to never abandon those who needed him, was becoming a tangible reality. Outside the courthouse, the chilly morning air carried a mix of relief and lingering uncertainty. The harsh glare of early sunlight met the soft expressions of newfound hope as Cassandra, though weary and scarred by years of running, looked up at Carter with a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. Their shared past, marred by separation and unresolved emotions, was slowly giving way to a future defined by mutual support and the healing power of second chances. Back at his modest home, which had long been a symbol of isolation and routine, Carter transformed every room into a sanctuary for the children. The living room, once barren and cold, now buzzed with the warmth of freshly baked meals, laughter echoing through corridors, and the gentle chatter of shared stories. Each detail, from the carefully prepared bed for the children to the shelves stocked with groceries, became an emblem of his commitment to providing them with a safe haven. As he navigated this new chapter, Carter faced challenges that tested his resolve daily. Legal battles, unforeseen visits from estranged relatives, and the constant threat of Martin Wells' interference loomed large. Yet, each trial only strengthened his determination. He sought guidance from friends and mentors, ensuring that every decision was made with the children's best interests at heart. In quiet moments, when the weight of his responsibility threatened to overwhelm him, Carter would pause and look at the children, at the way their eyes sparkled with tentative hope and trust, and he would find the courage to press on. Throughout it all, the story remained one of redemption and the transformative power of kindness. On every step of this arduous journey, acts of kindness stories stood as a beacon, reminding viewers that even in the most heart-wrenching circumstances, a spark of compassion can ignite change. Carter's unwavering determination to hold on to the family that fate had brought together was a testament to the idea that love is the most potent force of all, a force capable of bridging the gaps between past mistakes and future possibilities. In the midst of the struggle, moments of tenderness emerged that healed old wounds and built new foundations. Quiet evenings were spent reading bedtime stories, where Carter's deep voice would weave magical tales of bravery and hope, instilling in the children a belief in a better tomorrow. In the silent sanctuary of his home, each night became a celebration of resilience, a silent promise that no matter how dark the world seemed, there was always light waiting to break through. Even as legal documents were signed and custody battles fought in the sterile corridors of justice, the true victory lay in the hearts of those who had been brought together against all odds. Carter's journey was not simply about winning a court case. It was about redefining what it meant to be a family. It was about proving that true guardianship transcends legal definitions, and that the love forged in adversity can mend even the deepest of scars. Every day brought new challenges, yet each one was met with a steadfast resolve to protect, nurture, and uplift the children. Carter's life, once governed by a strict adherence to duty and procedure, was now colored by spontaneous acts of kindness. A shared meal with Cassandra, laughter echoing in the hallways, and quiet moments of reflection that spoke of healing and hope. The transformation was gradual but undeniable, as a once solitary officer embraced a role that demanded not only the enforcement of the law but also the healing of broken hearts. In that transformation there was a lesson for everyone watching. Acts of kindness stories showcased a journey where human compassion triumphed over bureaucracy, where the courage to confront one's own past paved the way for a brighter future, and where the simple act of caring for another could change the course of a life. Through the eyes of Officer Carter and the innocent trust of the children, viewers were reminded that sometimes the greatest acts of heroism occur in the quiet moments of everyday life. A reassuring smile, a warm meal, or a promise to always be there when it matters most. And so, as the story continued to unfold, each chapter became a testament to the enduring power of kindness, a reminder that even when the world seems indifferent, there are hearts willing to fight for what is right, no matter the cost. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with obstacles both expected and unforeseen, yet the unwavering commitment of one man to protect these children was a beacon of hope, inspiring all who heard it to believe in the transformative power of love and compassion. In the quiet aftermath of a long, painful night, hope began to reassemble the shattered pieces of a family's life. Officer Carter, once a man hardened by years of solitude and routine duty, now found himself at the heart of a transformation he never thought possible. Standing at the threshold of a new beginning, he watched as Cassandra, having fought her own battles, slowly reclaimed her role as a loving mother. The children, whose eyes had once mirrored terror and uncertainty, now shone with the fragile light of trust and promise. In the soft glow of the hospital's early morning light, the weight of legal struggles and painful memories started to lift. The courtroom drama, marked by heated exchanges and the desperate pleas of a little boy who simply wanted to feel safe, had finally given way to a decision that honored the true meaning of family. The judge's ruling, a victory for Cassandra and for the children, was more than just a legal win. It was a declaration that love and protection could defy the rigid definitions of blood ties. With every signed document and every tender reassurance, the bonds among these souls grew stronger. At Carter's modest home, the once lonely walls now embraced the warmth of shared meals, laughter, and quiet moments of understanding. The living room, transformed by the gentle hum of everyday life, echoed with stories of resilience and second chances. In this new chapter, every act of care, from preparing a comforting dinner to reading a bedtime story, served as a reminder that healing is possible when hearts commit to nurturing one another. Amid the challenges of navigating a complex legal system and the lingering threats from those determined to undo their hard-won peace, Carter's determination to stand as a guardian for these children never wavered. Outside, the chill of winter still reigned, but within the confines of their new beginning, the spirit of hope burned brightly. Cassandra's cautious smiles and the children's tentative giggles painted a picture of a future where fear was gradually replaced by faith. Every shared glance between Carter and Cassandra spoke volumes about their evolving trust, a trust forged in the crucible of hardship and tempered by the promise of protection. The streets and hospital corridors that once held echoes of despair now witnessed the birth of a family rebuilt on the foundation of compassion and unwavering commitment. Their journey was not without scars. The looming presence of a man from the past, whose attempts to reclaim control threatened to shatter the newfound unity, had forced them to confront the harsh realities of their lives. Yet, even in the midst of this conflict, the community around them began to rally. Neighbors offered quiet support, and local advocates lent their voices to ensure that the children's safety was never compromised. Through the relentless pursuit of justice, Carter discovered that every act of kindness, every brave stand against injustice, resonated far beyond the courtroom. It inspired others to believe in the possibility of change and the healing power of empathy. In the weeks that followed, as Carter and Cassandra navigated the complexities of family, law, and healing, small victories became the threads that wove their future together. The simple joy of decorating a Christmas tree, the playful banter during a backyard snowball fight, and the quiet assurance in Carter's steady gaze when he comforted the children. Each moment was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They learned that family is not defined solely by genetics but by the choices made every day to protect, nurture, and love one another unconditionally. Now, as the day draws to a close and the golden hues of sunset mingle with the cool blues of the coming night, the story of this brave new beginning stands as a beacon of hope for all who watch. The struggles, the tears, and the challenges of the past have given way to a future filled with promise and the certainty that, together, they can overcome any obstacle. Officer Carter's journey from isolation to becoming a steadfast guardian is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, the light of compassion can guide us home. If this story of resilience, love, and the transformative power of kindness moved you, please consider liking, sharing, and commenting below with your thoughts and experiences. Your engagement not only helps us spread a message of hope but also supports the mission of our channel, Acts of Kindness Stories New, as we work toward reaching 10,000 subscribers. Join our community and be a part of the movement that believes in the strength of compassion and the impact of standing together in the face of adversity. Thank you for being here and for believing that every act of kindness has the power to change lives.